So at 18, I learned that focus makes a big difference to successful people. And structure was fundamental for focus for areas like writing, problem solving, or project management. Checklists are a great way of achieving structure. So checklists became essential to me for everyday tasks, for project management, running my YouTube channel, even writing my book, and for common tasks like home upkeep, chores, or for packing. And as Atul Gawande, the author of the highly popular book, The Checklist Manifesto, puts it, the volume and complexity of what we know has exceeded our individual ability to deliver its benefits correctly, safely, or reliably. So as I started using Notion, I began to appreciate nested checklists and toggles to keep these checklists. And as I advanced with Notion, I started using database tables, Kanban boards and lists with checkboxes, select properties and filters and sorts to create my checklists. And now that Notion has added features like subtasks, automations, templates, and buttons, it makes this feature much more useful. So then I got this idea to collapse all of my checklists into one space. And that's what I want to talk to you about more. By keeping all of my checklists in one place, I don't have to go looking around all of my Notion workspace for individual checklists. And I've arranged these checklists and grouped them by category. I've nested these for different situations. And if I need another checklist, I just add one in this specific area. Now that I have a subtask area by just clicking in and add new sub-item. Since I've created a default template called Untitled, it creates it with all the content, the checklist content inside. And once I've just created it, I just click on the new checklist button and it'll create the checklist and a reset button as well. And now using Notion automations, it stamps every new checklist as not started as soon as it's created. And if I'm using this checklist, I move the tag to in progress. So let's say, for example, I take a trip for a few days. All I need to do is to go to travel and look for a short trip. The short trip gives me the checklist broken down from essential to accessories. And I can choose which ones I need for the trip and mark off the ones I don't need. If I have an item that I need that's not listed, I just add it in. And then there's this list view, and I keep ticking it off as I put them into my suitcase. And the list becomes smaller and smaller. If I want to reset this list, for some reason, I can just hit the reset button and all the ticks will be removed. When it's time to return back, I mark the checklist as done and go to the Create tab and uncheck each of these items as I'm packing them back in. And when I'm going to make another trip, I select the specific checklist and click on the Reset Selected button. I can also set a reminder date for each of these specific checklists. And all of these reflect back in the checklist reminder calendar in Notion. And I can move these to the Notion calendar as well. To clear the date, all I need to do is to select the checklist and press the Reset Date button. As part of the process, I've also added automations as and when new records are created. Now the brilliant thing is you can share these checklists with your family, your friends, your colleagues, as if it relates to each one of them. Just add in a last edited by column that shows you who's actually checking these off. And I've designed these checklists to be flexible to adapt to changes in what you want inside. So checklists evolve as you learn something new or you do something different. For example, if you've never gone skiing before and you're going to go on a skiing holiday, you need to pack some additional stuff, right? And so you will have another section in your database. The next time you go to the beach, obviously the things for your skiing holiday are not relevant. So you just mark these off as not needed and they won't appear in your list. So one specific checklist that keeps changing is the pre-production workflow under the Create section. So when I discovered that the aircon sound makes its way into my videos, I've switched it off. When I got a green screen, I added that in. But the one I love the most is this dog clicker that I use to mark any mistakes I make while delivering on a B-roll. And so when it comes to edit, I just need to look at the spike of the audio track rather than having to hear the entire recording. So as you can see, I've added a ton of real life lessons based off of mistakes I've committed during the creation of various videos. To watch more Notion videos, click here.